Los Angeles is my home. Had a fair share of heartbreaks, made way too many mistakes, but Los Angeles is
Hello
my
and welcome back.
home.
Mikaelinho here with this Angels rebuild, and as you see we have reached the end of the season and we have missed out on the wild card game. We finished the season with a 531 record, 86 wins, 76 losses, way better than we would have expected going into the season, but we were quite a few wins away from the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians, who reached the wild card game. Houston Astros, they ran away with it in the end in our division. Minnesota Twins wins the Central Division, and Tampa Bay Rays wins the AL East. If we look at the National League, the Mets, Brewers, and the Padres are joined by Cubs and Dodgers, who play the wildcard game on the National League side. So we will go through our players player by player and look at how they did, and then we will sim the playoff to see who wins the 2021 MLB season. So if we start by looking at our batters, they are in order of at-bats. David Fletcher had the most at-bats, 648, 208 hits, 5 home runs, not too much, but a 321 average, which was the highest of all of them, a WAR of 4.2. He is 27 years old. I think he will serve us well for the next couple of seasons. He's going into arbitration, but I think we'll try to keep him. Anthony Rendon had a 295 average, managed 23 home runs. He is 31 years old and going into a $38 million a year contract, and I'm getting more and more interested in actually getting rid of him. So when trading is allowed again, I think I'm going to try to send him away. I'll probably need to take on another player with a hefty wage, but hopefully someone slightly younger or with a slightly lower salary. We will see, but a decent season from him, at least if we compare previous seasons. This was a bit worse than what he did for Washington in 2019. Let's just ignore the short Corona 2020 season, and it was pretty much on par with what he did in 2018. Okay, and then we have the main man, Mike Trout, 545 at-bats, 159 games, 37 home runs, 264 average. Not the best of seasons for him, with Mike Trout measures 37 home runs, 8 fewer than in 2019 when he had 75 fewer at-bats and he had an average of 291. So slight disappointment from him. We are going to have him for many years to come. Hopefully he can keep this level, that it won't deteriorate too much in the next few seasons. We don't want another Pujols on our hands here, so hopefully he can provide for us, because remember that I'm doing this for you, Mike Trout. I'm doing this for you, so you will have a shot at actually winning the World Series. Then you will need to stay competitive as well. Deal? Deal. Good. Ji-Man Choi, who we acquired pretty early on in the season, had a decent one as well. Max Stassi, our catcher, was good. Justin Upton, this is another one of these guys I'm going to try to get rid of. $23 million for someone this poor. Okay, he has a decent home run power, but except for that, he is pretty bad at everything else. So if we can offload him, then I would be very pleased. But we will see what happens. I have a feeling that not too many teams will be interested in him. So if we look at pitching, we ordered them by WAR, then 2.8 WAR for Andrew Heaney, 10 wins, 10 losses. Decent season for him, ends with a 4.55 ERA. If we compare it to his last few seasons, that is very much on par with what he has done since he came up. He's going to be a free agent because he wanted 18 million per year for 5 years, and I'm not ready to up his salary from 6.75 to 18 million. He's simply not that good. I'd rather let him go then and let someone else pay that loaded salary for him. Player I'd like to show you is Dylan Bundy, who we actually signed on an extension. He's going to earn 10.5 million for the next few seasons. He won 14 games, lost 6, had one great season. ERA of 4.03 maybe isn't exceptional, but he was really good. Stuff 71. Could he improve his control slightly at the age of 28? Who knows? But he has a 5-pitch toolbox with at least a decent fastball. Lacks a little bit when it comes to velocity, but I'm pleased to sign him through 2024. He will be 31 years old by then, and then we'll have to make a completely different decision whether to keep him then or not. Probably not, but he is going to be solid for us for the next 3 years. If we move on and look at fielding stats, this is what it looks like. Max Dassi played most of the games. Anthony Benboom played 39. Ji-Man Choi was the number 1 choice for the first base. Albert Pujols only played 24. Second base was a bit more evenly distributed. David Fletcher 82, Beretta, Mayfield, and Gosselin, who's absolutely atrocious, played. Rendon played most of the games at third base, while Fletcher and Iglesias, they split pretty evenly at the shortstop position. Justin Upton, 105 games. We must get rid of him. We have Taylor Ward as a backup. He is not great. He is okay-ish at age 27. We'll see if we keep him or if we get rid of him and find someone pretty similar. A placeholder, no more, no less. Right field position, Brandon Marsh and Jared Walsh, and in center field, there Mike Trout reigns supreme. A couple of guys played a game here and there when Big Mike was tired, but he is the main guy. Get team stats. We had a good season batting wise. Batting average 2.59, 5th in the American League. On base percentage 2nd. Stolen bases is where we performed the worst. If we look at pitching and defense, then we fell off a bit towards the end. ERA of 4.30, starts ERA 4.78. That's high. The bullpen couldn't keep their great form. They fell down to an ERA of 3.82. We are aware of this fact that we don't have the best pitchers. That is something that we'll need to work on in upcoming seasons. We were decent when it came to bases on balls, and okay-ish when it came to strikeouts, but there are loads to work on going forward. That is for sure. We had our best period in July, August, and then we trailed off a bit towards the end, but ended at a 530 win percentage, which I'm very, very pleased with. We move on from our team and look at the playoff and see who will take home the World Series this season. So this is what the playoff tree looks like. The New York Yankees will play the Cleveland Indians, and the Chicago Cubs will play the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the Yankees win their wildcard game and the Chicago Cubs wins theirs, which means that the Twins will face off against the New York Yankees and Tampa Bay Rays against Houston Astros. I have a feeling we are going to have a matchup between the Twins and the Astros. Padres go up against the Cubs, and I think Padres are going to win that one. And the Mets versus the Brewers, that one is more tight, and I don't have it in me to predict how that one's going to finish. So we basically only had one really tight matchup, and that was the one between Rays and Astros. But Astros reign supreme, so we have the predicted Twins and Astros matchup, and the Padres went through, and the Mets had it a bit easier than I expected against the Brewers. And no surprises came in the divisional rounds, where the Minnesota Twins won 4-1 against Astros, and the Padres won 4-1 against Mets, which means that we have the predicted matchup between Minnesota Twins and probably the currently best team in the MLB, San Diego Padres, who I think will take this to win World Series. Whoa, I was wrong. The Minnesota Twins win the World Series. Huge congratulations to them. They were up 3-1, and the Padres, they equalized to 3-3, but then the Twins won the final game. A great World Series. Minnesota Twins win it. Congratulations to them. We are coming for you. 2 players were posted by the KBO with some hefty fees on them. Let's look at them. Changmu Koo and Jonghoon Park, if any of them are good enough to be a long-term option for us. Changmu Koo, starting pitcher, decent stuff, could have a decent control, doesn't have it at the moment. 4-pitch arsenal, doesn't have the velocity. We're going to say no. Jonghoon Park, subpar stuff, subpar movement, subpar control, fantastic curveball, but doesn't have a good fastball, doesn't have a good sinker. No, these guys are not for us. We're going to say no. We're going to say no. So we reached the end of the season, and our season score is 575, which apparently is a very fine score. So we are pleased with our season. Artur Moreno, what does he say about our season? He has reviewed the goals. We didn't make the playoffs, but he's very happy about our 86-76 record, which was better than the 500 that he predicted or wished for us to have. We improved at right field, maybe not as much. We didn't bring in any player from our own system. We extended the contract for Raisel Iglesias, just like you wanted, Arturo. And if we look at the long-term plan, we are playoff bound in the year of 2025. Arturo Moreno is ecstatic, and next year, what does he want? He wants us to play 500 ball. He wants us to improve team stolen bases, acquire a top player. I would like that as well, but it's going to be a fairly young one if he's going to be with us for the next 3, 4, 5 seasons. And he wants us to keep building the team up, but now in order to reach the playoff in the next 5 seasons. So he's actually pushing that one forward. Okay, so pretty patient from the man. We'll see if we can make him happy. The market size increases, which is good. It's now very big. That must be good for us. We have a new budget. We have 284 million, team payroll of around 240, which I think we'll have a bit of wiggle room here to maybe pick up a player or two in free agency. We will see. Albert Pujols retires, and with him we lose a massive amount of salary to pay, which makes me happy. I'm just glad he retires. 2,908 games, 296 batting average, 3,257 hits, and 666 home runs. What a glorious career for him. Our pitching coach Bryce Benz retires, so we need to look at pitching coach going into the new season. Bench coach Matthew Johnson also decides to retire, so 2 new coaches to bring in. Look at the end of season top prospect list. Do we have anyone there? We're in 24th place in the top systems. 2 players are in the top 100. Robert Hassel III, who we signed in a trade deal with San Diego. He looks like a decent player. Needs to develop his contact. Could very well develop his discipline. Okay, I'm cautiously optimistic. Only 20 years old, currently at AA, so has time to improve and will need to improve massively. The other player, right fielder Brandon Marsh, is already in the Angels roster. Contact 40 could improve to 62, which would be a massive jump for him. Gap power 57 could develop into 70. Could develop his discipline. This season he had an average of 284, 8 home runs in 282 at bats. So a good-ish first season in the major league for him. And let's see if we keep him now that we go into the arbitration period. So the guys who are up for arbitration for us are Jaime Barria. He has 570k current salary. We're offering 900k. Ty Buttrey, Mike Mayers, Max Stassi, G-Man Choi, Franklin Barreto, and David Fletcher. The ones who stand out here are Max Stassi, who is jumping from 1.6 to 6 million. G-Man Choi from 2.4 to 4.6. And David Fletcher from 570 to 4.8. Let's look at David Fletcher. Yeah, I think it's worth it. So we're not changing any of these. See if we get to keep them or not. Pending free agents, Alex Claudio, 18.9 million qualifying offer, no. And Andrew Heaney, 18.9 million, no. So these guys are leaving. That's for sure. The Nippon Professional League has posted their players as well. Let's see if any of them are good enough for us. Just by looking at the posting fees, then I would say that Rei Suzuki is probably the best one. Well, let's look through the 4. Shoga Nakamura, 29. Not good at anything. No, thank you. Had nice sideburns though. Takeyuki Kato. Relief pitcher. Stuff 55. Control 55. Movement 40. 5 pitches, but no really good ones. Velocity 84 to 86. No, thank you. Seiya Suzuki, the one who is touted to be the best. Contact 59, potentially 75. Good home run power, good discipline. Right fielder with a lovely outfield arm. This could be an interesting one. And finally, relief pitcher Kota Nakagawa, 27 years old. Nice slider, decent control. Meh. Pretty meh. So if we look at our right field position, where are we at? At right fielder is currently Jared Walsh with Joe Adele as the backup. Jared Walsh, 28, good gap power, good home run power, okay-ish defensively. So the Japanese guy would be a step up. Joe Adele, the prospect, if he would develop the way his potential points, if he would have a contact of 75, a home run power of 73, then he would be lethal. He's not there yet. He is currently with us. He spent most of the season at the AA level, posting 272 average, 288 when he came up. So we look okay out of right field. He can also play centre field, versatile, which is good. So I think we're gonna say no, even though he looked tasty. Seiya Suzuki, 27 years, so he'd have a good 3 or 4 years in him. But we are gonna say no. We're gonna be sensible and say no. So the arbitration hearings was a mixed bag where we mostly had to pay more than we wished for, but at least we are through them. And we have international free agents entering the market, and now it is time for us to see if there are players out there who can make our team better now, but more importantly in the future. So the internationals together with the free agents, what can we find in this market? If we look at all free agents, there is one guy who really stands out, and that's Francisco Lindor, the Puerto Rican shortstop. He has played for a couple of MLB sides, and now he wants a hefty contract at age 28. 40 million or somewhere around there for someone with a 65 contact, 63 gap power, 65 home run power. Brilliant defensive ratings though. Hit 23 home runs for the Mets last season. So he's by far the most interesting one, but he requires a very large sum of cash, more than we want to pay. If we look at pitchers, there are 2 5-star pitchers out there. Charlie Morton and James Paxton. They are 38 and 33, so I'm not that interested in them. I am slightly interested in Lance McCullers, but he wants a hell of a lot of money, which makes me less interested. So I'm not really interested here at all, am I? They're either really, really expensive or really, really old. If we look at all of them, rank them by potential, there isn't really anyone who stands out. I mean, Robert Osuna, 26-year-old relief pitcher, but what do we need high-class relief pitchers for if we don't have a good starting rotation? No, not really interested, am I? Lewin Diaz, 1.5 star current ability, 3-star potential. He has spent his time between AAA, made a couple of appearances in the major league. And he looks okay, but it's not for us. So we end by looking at the actual depth chart at the moment. We have Stassi, who is a decent catcher, and we have a decent backup in Bamboom. Third base belongs to Anthony Rendon if we don't send him along. Jose Rojas, 28 years old, is a decent backup. Jiman Shaw is our first baseman. Jack Mayfield, second base. Shortstop, David Fletcher. Left field, Taylor Ward, 27 years old, okayish but not more. Mike Trout, center field, belongs to the King. And out of right field, we have Brandon Marsh, Walsh, and Adele as backups. Pitching wise, It's Blake Snell, Griffin Canning, Shohei Ohtani, Dylan Bundy, and Jaime Barria going into the new season. I'm not going to delve into the free agent market. We are not going to be competitive for next season. We are doing this for a long run. This was a bit of a longer episode. I am proud of the season that we had. I have high hopes going into next season that our players will keep developing. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Los Angeles is my home. Had a fair share of heartbreaks, made way too many mistakes, but Los Angeles is my